In this video, we'll be looking at how to find the area of a region between two curves. To find the area between two curves, you want to find the area under the upper curve and subtract from that the area under the lower curve. Our first example, we're asked to determine the area of the region bounded by the graphs of y equal x squared and y equals square root of x. So our first step is to sketch the region. Now we know that y equal x squared is a parabola that opens up with its vertex at the origin. And we know that y equals the square root of x is this curve right here. So the region that we're looking at is this region right in here. We want to find the area. Our next step is to find the 2 points where the curves intersect. So right here and right here. We do that by solving the system y equal x squared and y equals square root of x. And since these are both equal to y, we can set them equal to each other. And so we get x squared equals square root of x. To get rid of the radical, we want to square both sides. So x to the fourth is equal to x. And then we know that we cannot divide by a variable. So to solve this equation, we need to move both terms to one side and set it equal to 0 and factor. So we subtract x from both sides and then factor out an x out of this binomial. And so we have x times x cubed minus 1. That product is equal to 0, so each factor is equal to 0. So x is equal to 0, our x cubed minus 1 is equal to 0. When you solve x cubed minus 1 equals 0, you get x equals 1. Then we want to calculate the area of the region will be the area under the upper curve, subtract the area under the lower curve. So the upper curve was the square root of x, the lower curve was x squared, and we're calculating from 0 to 1. So we integrate. To make it easier for us to use the power rule, when we integrate, we'll change this to x raised to the 1/2 power. So increase the exponent by 1, divide by the new exponent. It gives us x to the 3/2 divided by 3/2, which is the same as multiplied by 2/3. And then this becomes x cubed divided by 3, or 1/3. The fundamental theorem of calculus says that we evaluate this expression with 1 substituted in, and then subtract from that the value when 0 is substituted in. So when we put 1 in here for x, we have 2/3, subtract 1/3, and then when we put 0 in, that's just going to be 0. So 2/3 minus 1/3 is 1/3.